Hello, YouTuber whoopers. Well, we had a pretty beautiful day today of sun and shine and friggin' cold and wind. And yeah, just a great thing to be out with the little shovel and got the driveway all clear. I had a front buddy come by and swipe my driveway head, so it wasn't too bad. But I got the end there where all the snow gets plowed into. Well, it's snowing again. So I don't know what we're getting. A couple of inches, I think. Um, but I was out, I'm driving into town today because we were doing a our first live production of the conversations that I mentioned before. We're going to start putting them live on the local TV cable station, and so that was fun. Um, Lots to learn. But anywho, I was listening to Patriot Radio on my way in, and I was kind of trying to and I really just don't have a clue. I'm sure someone out there will say, "Man, you've got it all wrong." But I just I can't quite figure out why there is such an, an backlash about Trump being elected. I mean, you know, I'm 58 years old. I really probably didn't pay a lot of attention to politics in my younger years. You know, family was a Democrat family, so my brothers and sisters were like my governed. We were making signs and stuff back in the day when you used to walk around with signs, and but I just don't remember even when we had a black president. You would have thought there would have been a lot of white supremacy groups going after President Obama, but there really wasn't. And it's really a bizarre thing about such widespread, Berkeley, awful stuff going on at Berkeley for protesters. It's just, I can't really figure it out. But I was thinking about it today, driving along on my little snowy ride in to, well, Lee isn't really a city. It just has things like grocery stores, banks, and stuff. um, McDonald's and a Dunkin' Donuts. There's all the important things. The gas station. All of which we don't have here in the little town of Beck. But I was thinking about the election and the campaigning. And, in the beginning, the, the big Democratic elect was Bernie. And everybody, including myself, loved Bernie. He just seemed like he was saying all the right things in some ways. Bernie was making a big deal about, free health care to everybody and um, free education to everybody and free this and free that. And Hillary wasn't saying any of that stuff. But in order for Hillary to steal away all the voters from Bernie, she had to start promising free this, free that, free this, free that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, you know, free this, free that. It's just that, why send somebody away to college and pay for 4 years of education if they're going to party for the 4 years? Now, not everybody that goes to college parties. A lot of people buckle down and work for it, but a lot of those are the ones that are having student loans, and they know that, they're going to have to pay back their loans in order to get through it. Now, when I went to college, I had a student loan and I also had scholarships. and I paid back my student loan. It took me a little while, but I did it. Now mine weren't humongous. I wasn't only 30 or 60 or $100,000 off of all these things because I was just studying electronics. So, it was a modest technology, Wentworth Institute of Technology in Boston. I didn't live on campus. I commuted home every day on the public transportation for the most part until I had to be there for more than 8 hours a day, and then I had to start switching over to a car. But before that, I was commuting on the train. So, I know things are different, and personally, I think that there should be another 2 years over high school for technical school. And whether that's because you graduate with a high school diploma in this country, for the most part, most people don't have a lot of knowledge to go out and work more than minimum wage. Now, if you manage to get into workshop and you learn to fix cars and auto body and, home ec, you learn to cook, but it's not quite enough to get you above minimum wage, maybe a little bit. But another 2 years, for people that wish to go into like a technical, and the technical could be medical, it could be it could be 2 year nursing degree, it could be running an X-ray machine. I mean, it could be, being some kind of office workers or so it's not limited to somebody who's learning to weld or learning to paint a house. But that would extend the education system just a little more to get people that extra bump. And when people just had enough of school to graduate at their senior year, they could be gone. They could do that like they do now. And I think that would help a lot. It would help get people qualified to work in factories and get that little extra where they didn't have to worry about filling their time up with, gym class and, I don't know, art class, all these little things, history. I mean, history is important. Maybe it would be how to balance your checkbook or something, but, it's important stuff. But, there's a lot of requirements in high school that you have to fulfill in order to graduate. And that if you only had to focus on just a specialized training thing, that would be a good thing. But I think I've digressed and switched over my topics a little bit. So I was thinking about it when I was driving along today, and I think that a lot of the young people, and maybe the older people, I don't know, but it's mostly the young people are the ones that are out there, throwing rocks and protesting and screaming and stuff. I could speculate that there are people that are illegal immigrants doing it too, but I don't know. I really don't know. And frankly, I don't really care. They're in this country and they're participating, and, it's up to them to do things right. But I don't understand why so many people are so angry about the fact that Trump got in and not Hillary. I mean, it's only 4 friggin' years, and then they start over. We do this all over again. And maybe he gets to go another 4 years, just like most presidents do, but maybe he won't. Maybe he only wants to be there for 4 years. And then you get, it's not like a lot of that have been in office for years and years, 20, 30 years, They've been there, and, nobody bats an eye. They just reelect them over and over and over again, whether they're doing any good or not. We got Elizabeth Warren in Massachusetts, and she's done pretty much squat for Massachusetts. And nobody objects because this is a friggin' Democrat state. So we got to have we can't have a Republican as a senator because, they wouldn't accomplish anything. Well, she's not accomplishing any of her promises. But, you know, I think that, they heard all these promises that Bernie was going to offer. Then they heard all these promises that Hillary was going to offer: free education, free this, free that. We'll pay back your student loans. You know, we'll give you free food so you don't have to go out and work for a living. These people are out protesting every day. How are they earning a living? How are they paying for their cell phone bill? Because their cell phone bills are probably a good, a couple $100 a month at least. I don't know. I don't understand it because, you know, I don't understand it. But the only thing I can think, that's why they're so upset that Hillary or Bernie didn't get into office. And I still get these people facing on Facebook thinking, oh, if we could only have Bernie. Look, at Bernie's out there saying that we should do this, if we could do that. Well, Bernie should go sit down with the president and say, hey, let's roll up our sleeves and see if we can make this happen. But instead, he'd rather be sitting out there on a podium saying, look at Mr. Trump, he's not really doing what he's supposed to be doing. Look at the awful things they're doing. Just watching a press conference here, they're talking about how very little terrorism occurs in Japan, because Japan isn't allowed to go out and invade into other countries. They're supposed to just protect themselves. They put all their military resources in taking care of their own country. If they don't want to let Muslims into their country, they don't have to. Nobody's objecting to it. So why are they objecting to the United States if they don't want to allow people into the country that think they're going to harm us? If you had a bunch of strangers knock on your door tonight and say, hey, we'd like to come and stay at your house for a couple of months. You can't mind because we're allowed. We got a First Amendment right to go anywhere we want. So, we're going to come in and hang out on your door. I've got a pretty feeling that most people would object to that. So why aren't they objecting to, this other stuff? They just want to, put up boundaries, for Trump just because it's Trump. It's, they say, and maybe it's true, maybe it's not true about Trump being a sexist, but every day I see a new commercial. Just look at the Super Bowl commercials. How many of them are based on explicit sexual exploitation of women, one way or another? The ever anybody? He's out there wigging his tail, making a big deal about wigging his tail. you know, all these sexual innuendos. You don't see actresses and actors saying, we're not going to do this kind of stuff anymore. They're all getting paid big bucks to go out there and flash their tushy on the big screen. Nobody complains. Nobody complains about the entertainment industry and what they do to promote sexual exploitation of women and men and children, for that matter. They don't object. They think it's perfectly fine because they're making $1 million or $2 million, whatever they make. It's kind of funky. It's really it's really kind of a, what's the word? Say one thing and mean another, or mean one thing and say another. It's just an amazing thing to see all this stuff come out, and they don't, the same thing, with these actresses that are saying, or actors saying we're going to leave the country if Trump gets elected, but they're out there, shaking their stuff. They don't care about how it is. Yeah, you could turn the TV off, but sometimes the stuff just sneaks up on you. You're just sitting there, and all of a sudden a commercial. By the time you realize what it's all about, that's what's nice about watching Netflix and Amazon and all these other ones, because you don't have to deal with watching commercials. You can choose your programming, not have to deal with it. So I don't know. I didn't want to go on for 14 minutes. So I don't even know how many you got to stick here with 14 minutes. But I don't get it. You got all these people out there saying, and granted that Trump's behavior during his campaigning was far from honorable. I mean, he certainly had said some bad stuff, but there was a lot of good stuff in what he said too, and that's the only reason why he got elected was because people saw through all the crap. I mean, the crap that he said, Hillary said crap too, and so did Bernie Sanders. Neither one of them are, and not to mention the behavior of President Obama and Michelle during the election process of how they were responding to different things going on. Really, it's finding the whole thing, the whole election this time around, is really rather revolting. You really come down to it all. It's just an amazing thing. You really wonder where things are going to be in 4 years when we're having to do this whole process all over again. Really needed to happen a different way. And even now, I'll hear people talk about it saying, "Oh, we could only get rid of, Trump." I'm going, and put who in place? What, you think your savior, Hillary, is going to do anything in the White House for 4 years? But she hasn't done anything, as Secretary of State that was positive for this country. It's just crazy. They just think if there's a woman in office, it's going to be all that much better. You see people wearing these pink hats at the thing, and really what's it's behind is a terrorist group buying the hats. Do they even care who paid for them all? I don't know. It's just a crazy thing. Did any of those posters that you saw when people were walking around that day, the women posting about it, all their stuff was bashing Trump? Did they bash the movie industry? Did they bash prostitution? Did they bash child pornography? Did they bash any of this kind of stuff? No, not once. I didn't see one. It's crazy. Who the frig do they think they are? Clean up the act. I mean, think about Marilyn Tyler Moore, which recently passed away. She really promoted wholesome, dignity promoted TV, and so did Lucille Ball for the most part. Granted that there was some risque stuff in Star Trek. The first Star Trek, there was some provocative scenes in there, but I think overall, when you think about it, that's why Star Trek took off, was because of it being so, positive towards the human race. It's just, it's just a very, very, very strange how people don't see it. I mean, if I see it, why doesn't other people see it? I can remember when Helen Rady was promoting, treating women equally and stuff. I mean, what happened to that? These Muslim countries are how they degrade women, but the women don't seem to object to it. We object to it. We think it's awful what they do to women's bodies. We think it's awful how they treat women, and they don't treat women with equality. Why aren't they raising these concerns and these protests where we're saying not to bring them into the country? Why not? Why isn't any of them objecting to it? What's the deal? They walk around out when they're holding their sides and they got their faces covered? I don't know. I expected this to be a short video. Maybe I should delete it and start over. I don't know. Well, I'm going to ta-ta for now, and I'm not sure if we're going to put this video up because it's going to take 3 days to upload. And I'm pretty sure most of you have stopped listening to me after the first 3 minutes. Except for maybe Empty Nester, because she kind of sticks along with the whole video, but for the most part. Oh, I don't know. It's just very bizarre. Even today, I was at the studio and there was a lady talking about it, and it was going, "What are you kidding me? Trump's only been doing things that have been positive towards the country. You know, in the first 3 weeks that he's been in office. You know, what did Obama do in the first 3 weeks he was in office? Party? Hop on his jet with his kids and travel around the world? I mean, I don't know. I can't really remember what he did. I don't know. Very, very strange things going on out there. It's no wonder most of the country is freezing and cold. You know, look at how things are going on politically in the country, and then look at our weather, or look at your country, because some of the people watch here are not in the United States, and look at how it reflects. You know how how the weather reflects towards the mood. It's pretty crazy. Berkeley is supposed to be, you know, a new age positive change, and here you have all these protests that are causing violence. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. You know, what's gonna force the government is doing is instituting martial law in a lot of these locations, like they had to do with the riots around the police brutality stuff that happened, you know, a few years back. It's you know, is that going to be what's actually going to work? Instituting more security. It's a crazy world. Crazy, 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 crazy. But yeah, crazy, 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 crazy. It's a very bizarre thing. You know, just this thing with the judges. So you know, it's almost like if I could commit murder, I could probably find a judge that could find me innocent. But I don't see any reason why he should be persecuted. We'll let him free. I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't make sense. That's means it's the same thing with Hillary. If they were to try to prosecute Hillary for her email scandal, you know, the judges would just find her innocent, except to be on a record. That would be a thing that she'd have to think twice about. But oh well, 20. I don't think I've ever done a video this long. We'll see how this one goes. Ta-ta.